There are two types of remains, casketed and inurned. Each type requires a slightly different sequence of events. First, casketed remains.
Let me see what's next on the list, so what we got to do.
I think it's where we need to place the music, and I think over here looks like a fine place to place the music.
All right, let's check it out.
The first step the service representative must take is to determine an appropriate location for the CD player or bugler. The site reconnaissance should include determining the position of the firing party if one is present. Remember, the sounding of taps is a dignified part of the interment ceremony. If a CD player is used instead of a bugler, it must be placed out of sight of the mourners, but in a location which will not degrade the sound. When using a CD player for taps, always keep plenty of spare batteries ready to cover any emergencies, and test it. The service representative will conduct a rehearsal to ensure the detail is proficient at executing the sequence of events.
Control here.
Okay.
Check out the service, see the volume, everything's good.
The rehearsal is a good time for a final test of the CD player. You want to make sure it will work when it's time to sound taps. The initial step in the actual interment ceremony is to get the detail in position for the arrival of the funeral cortege. The detail should be positioned near where the hearse will stop and in a manner to allow the casket to be carried past the detail as it proceeds to the grave site. The service representative commands the detail to present arms as the casket is removed from the hearse. He or she will give the command, order arms, once the funeral party has passed them. Note the detail turns to face the flag.
And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
When the committal or religious
Amen.
service is completed, the service representative will assume the clergy person's position at the head of the grave, and the funeral director will have the mourner stand for the sounding of taps. Once the mourners have risen, the service representative will execute present arms, and taps will be sounded. The assistant will execute present arms on the first note of taps, and both individuals will order arms upon the completion of the music. The assistant will then move to the foot of the grave, and the funeral director will request the mourners to take their seats. Next, the flag is folded. The service representative and his or her assistant will secure the flag and raise it to waist height. Be sure to take a step back while raising the flag. Once the flag is secured and raised, the detail will take 3 side steps away from the mourners. After completing the 3 side step movement, they will fold the flag. For the best fold, always fold over before taking a step. After the flag is properly folded, the detail assistant will hand it to the service representative, execute a facing movement, and then move out of sight. The flag is not presented until after the assistant is out of sight. Next, the service representative presents the flag to the next of kin.
On behalf of the President of the United States, a grateful nation.
The wording accompanying the presentation is according to each military service's tradition, expressing the gratitude of a grateful nation. Following the presentation of the flag, the service representative will slowly salute the next of kin and then offer condolences to the remainder of the immediate family or the front row of mourners. If the next of kin does not accept the flag, then it should be given to the funeral director without ceremony. Once condolences have been offered, the service representative and detail assistant will return to the cortege arrival point and await the departure of the cortege. The service representative will order present arms as the next of kin's vehicle begins to pass their location. Immediately after the vehicle is passed, the command, order arms, is given.
Order arms. Great job.
Why, thank you.
Prior to
Family's
departing the
very happy.
cemetery, the service representative should solicit both positive and negative comments from the funeral director.
Nope, everything's fine.
All right.
So see you all later, okay? Enjoy the rest of your day.
Back at his or her home station, the service representative has one more duty. He or she must ensure the required information on the military funeral honors data collection form is submitted to the tasking organization. Next, we will detail the sequence of events when the descendants' remains have been inurned. There are some differences between this ceremony and the one for casketed remains. Please pay attention to these differences. Like for casketed remains, the first step the service representative must take is to determine a location for the CD player or bugler and the firing party if one will be participating. The service representative will conduct a rehearsal to ensure the detail thoroughly understands the entire sequence of events. Remember, the rehearsal is a good time for a final test of the CD player. You want to make sure it will work when it is time to sound taps. Once everything is ready, the service representative and the detail assistant will position themselves for the arrival of the cortege. The detail should be positioned near where the funeral party will arrive and in an area where the urn and flag will pass the detail on its way to the committal site. The service representative will command "present arms" as the urn and flag are carried to the committal site. After the urn and flag have passed, the detail will execute "order arm." At the conclusion of the committal or religious service, the service representative will assume the clergy person's position to the left of the display device.